All right, guys, hope you're enjoying the course so far. The thing we want to talk to you about is how to find and fix your pronunciation problems, because pronunciation is one where you need feedback to a certain extent. Very few of us have like an ear that is good enough for our own voice, so
Absolutely.
that we can actually pick out problems. And more importantly, of course, most of us aren't qualified to fix our own problems in pronunciation as well, right? So how do we possibly do that? Well, number one, recording yourself. If you can record yourself with a number of different tools that you have available, which we'll go through in just a sec, you'll be able to match it up with that of a native speaker. And maybe you can even find out yourself what's going wrong.
Oh, it's just so much more objective, right? It's like your voice sounds different in your own head.
Yep.
You've ever heard a recording of yourself and you just really think like, ooh, do I really sound like that? And it's like, you never sound that bad, but it sounds different than how you think you sound. And so that's a really important thing to recognize. You hear yourself speak Chinese, you go, oh, I thought I was saying that right. But even sometimes yourself, you go, it's not right.
Absolutely.
So it's very helpful.
So that's that. So recording yourself, and also not just judging it yourself. Maybe if you still can't figure it out, you get a qualified person to do that for you. So first of all, how do you record yourself? Well, there's a couple of tools you can use. Audacity is a cool tool. It's free, and it's one of those where you can actually really analyze the sound waves of your voice and compare it to that of a native speaker. You can cut and stitch together, and you can do all sorts of things on there.
Yeah, and this can be very useful because that's pretty darn objective, isn't it? It's like it's not just auditorily objective, it's also visually objective. You should have your tone going in this particular sound wave, and it's not. So you have to still improve. So that's very helpful. And that kind of leads into the second one, which is actually a little bit more convenient to use, which is Anki. So if you're using Anki to do your recording, it's really quite useful because it's very convenient, it's very fast. And so while you're doing your recording, at any point, you can just go into Browse, look at the actual card that you are studying, and add in a new recording. And it's really simple to do. There is a little recording icon there, but even easier, just press the F5 button. As soon as you press it, it starts recording. Cool. You can record your voice from your computer's microphone. Press Enter to stop. Again, F5 to start recording, Enter to stop, and immediately it will play it back for you. So you can hear the native audio and compare it to your audio. And so that's great. So it's while you're studying, you're already in the right frame of mind to be doing it. So, you might as well get some objective feedback in that way.
And there's also a couple of paid ways you can do this. So those two are free, Audacity and Anki. Now, if you want a paid way, obviously it's slightly better because you get direct feedback from professionals, right? So a good way of doing this is Why Chinese. That's WAI Chinese. The cool thing about Why Chinese is that you can actually analyze it yourself if you like. So you can analyze the actual sound wave just like you do in Audacity. And you can also send your files to professional teachers for sort of a review, if you like. So what's wrong with your tones? They mainly focus on tones, but I'm sure they could tell you about other stuff as well if you ask them. Like say, was my JI okay, etc. And also, aside from Why Chinese as well, you can just go on italki or another paid website or a language exchange even for free, and you can find someone to correct it that way. You can send recordings online. Another great thing is if you use WeChat, or I guess Facebook has these as well now, and all these different social media have those recordings. I think they copied WeChat. Really.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So you hold your thumb down and you send the message. These are really cool because you can cancel them as well.
Yeah, just slide your thumb up, and that's great because I do it all the time. I still do that sometimes. I realize, this message isn't going well. It's sometimes in English as well, and you just slide up, cancel. That gives you a chance to practice it, and you can also just do it to yourself as well. Like if you were just wanting to practice something and listen back to it immediately. Play it, record it, listen back to it if you realize you mess up. So it gives you the chance to just try something out, and then no big deal. You can easily cancel it. So for recording, Audacity, Anki, you can do Why Chinese, you can do WeChat, and even italki, but definitely record yourself and get some feedback from a native speaker, and you will be well on your way.
So if you combine all of these different tools, or you use just a couple of them, and you combine it with setting yourself goals, benchmarking yourself, and doing this regularly. Okay, so like you test yourself, say now, and you get feedback from a teacher now, and then you get feedback from the same teacher or from the same resource again in 6 months' time or 3 months' time, whatever, and you just see if there's any improvement, and that's a good way of keeping the motivation going as well, making sure you're making progress there and fixing those problems.
Absolutely. Just compare the audio files, right? Audio files from 3 months ago, 6 months ago, compare them now. And hey, that'll be a confidence booster as well because you'll see your improvement pretty objectively.
Absolutely.